What made your hardest private earn the respect of your entire platoon? Private Dalton Reeves was the worst soldier I'd ever seen. 3 months into basic training and he couldn't do a single pull-up. Failed every PT test, couldn't march in step, forgot his rifle serial number daily. Our drill sergeant, Staff Sergeant Nolan Pierce, rode him constantly. Reeves, my grandmother moves faster than you, and she's been dead for 6 years. The platoon avoided Dalton. Nobody wanted to be his battle buddy because it meant extra work. You'd end up carrying his gear, covering his mistakes, getting smoked because he messed up. During ruck marches, Dalton would fall behind within the first mile. We'd have to stop and wait while he caught up, gasping for air. Made everyone else look bad. Week 10, we had our final field exercise. 48 hours in the woods, living out of our rucksacks. The test that separated real soldiers from quitters. Dalton struggled from the start. Couldn't set up his tent properly. Burned his MRE trying to heat it. Tripped over every tree root on night patrol. Second day, we were doing land navigation training. Teams of 2, find 5 points using just a map and compass. My partner was Lance, a solid guy who actually knew what he was doing. We finished our course early, headed back to the rally point. That's when we heard someone calling for help. Found Private Quinn Foster in a ravine. He'd slipped on wet leaves, tumbled down a 15-foot drop. His ankle was twisted at a wrong angle, clearly broken. Quinn was a big guy, 6'3", maybe 230. No way 2 of us could carry him up that slope. Lance radioed for help. We need a medic and more people at checkpoint 7. Foster's got a broken ankle. Problem was, everyone else was scattered across 10 square miles doing their own navigation courses. Medics were at base camp, 30 minutes away even if they knew exactly where to find us. Quinn was going into shock. Face pale, breathing rapid. The temperature was dropping fast as evening approached. That's when Dalton appeared through the trees, alone, lost, probably trying to find his way back. Saw our situation immediately. How bad is he hurt? Dalton asked. Broken ankle, maybe worse. We need to get him out of this ravine before dark. Dalton didn't hesitate. Climbed down into that ravine, positioned himself under Quinn's good side. On 3, we lift him together. It took all 3 of us to get Quinn up that slope. Dalton took most of the weight, his face turning red from the effort. Never complained once. At the top, Lance said, "Medics are coming, but it'll be a while. We need to keep him warm." Dalton immediately stripped off his jacket, wrapped it around Quinn. Then he broke out his sleeping bag, covered Quinn's legs. "Dalton, you'll freeze without that gear," I said. "He needs it more than I do." For the next 40 minutes, Dalton stayed with Quinn. Kept him talking, kept him conscious, told stupid jokes, asked about his family, anything to prevent him from slipping further into shock. When the medics finally arrived, Quinn's condition had stabilized. The senior medic said, "Good work keeping him warm and alert. Probably saved him from going critical." They evacuated Quinn to the hospital. Turned out he'd also cracked 2 ribs in the fall. Could have been life-threatening if he'd lost consciousness out there. Back at camp, Sergeant Pierce pulled Dalton aside. "Reeves, that was solid work today. You did good." Dalton just nodded. "Foster needed help, Sergeant." Word spread through the platoon fast. The worst soldier among us had been the first one to actually step up when it mattered. Next morning at PT, Dalton was struggling with his usual pull-up test. Couldn't get his chin over the bar. Lance walked over. "Here, let me spot you. Adjust your grip like this." Then 3 other guys came over. Started coaching Dalton, showing him technique instead of just watching him fail. By the end of basic training, Dalton still wasn't the best soldier, but he passed his PT test. Made it through graduation. More importantly, he'd earned something most soldiers never get. Real respect from guys who'd written him off completely. Quinn came back on crutches for our graduation ceremony. Walked straight up to Dalton, shook his hand. "Doctor said if I'd been alone out there much longer, I could have died from shock and exposure. You saved my life." Dalton looked uncomfortable with the attention. Anyone would have done the same thing. Sergeant Pierce overheard that. "No, Reeves, most people would have done the same thing. You did it without hesitation, without thinking about yourself. That's the difference." 10 years later, I ran into Lance at a veterans event. We started talking about basic training, remembering the old platoon. "Whatever happened to Dalton?" I asked. Lance pulled out his phone, showed me a photo. Dalton in dress uniform covered in ribbons. He's a sergeant now. Deployed 3 times. Got a Bronze Star in Afghanistan for pulling 2 soldiers out of a burning vehicle. Turned out the worst private in our platoon became one of the best soldiers any of us ever served with.